Hello, everyone. I'm Netgear57, your virtual car friend, and today we are wearing a DWD 5600NH, the N Hollywood collaboration. That's a Japanese, clothing brand. They collaborated with G-Shock and made this really cool, kind of military style with a NATO strap. Very comfortable, very cool watch, and it's really one of my favorites. And today we're going to talk about the cold, hard truth of selling your modified car and true car values. Now, I see it in the comment time and time again. Netgear hates modifications. Netgear hates modified cars. If it's not stock, they don't like it. Why are they doing this to the car I love? It's my dream car. You can't make fun of it. And if you have a room temperature IQ, I can see why you'd think that. We shit on a lot of cars on the channel, but it's always for good reason and to explain why you shouldn't do it that way. And, we'll do it in a humorous manner. Maybe try to make light of the situation, but that doesn't take away from the truth that we're trying to convey. What you see on this channel reflects the real world. And in the real world, there's not a lot of cars out there worth buying. The Lunch Table Committee might see a wide-body S13 and think it's the second coming of Christ. Oh my God, a wide-body S13. Everybody wants that. That's amazing. That car easily is worth $25,000. But real-world buyers that have that kind of money to drop on a toy, they're going to be looking a lot deeper than that. If you're watching this, you've probably looked for 240s on Marketplace a time or two, here and there, off and on. It's kind of disheartening, I'm not going to lie. But you've probably noticed the ones that have been sitting there for months with a slapped-on wide-body kit, either painted or unpainted. Not the best looking, maybe a drift missile car that they're asking a lot of money for. And those cars always have this passive-aggressive description with like, I don't need to sell, just testing the waters. If it doesn't sell, I'm just going to do XYZ to it. If I fix XYZ, we'll be selling the car for Y. No low ballers, shit like that. It's all cope. It's just cope shit because they know nobody wants the car. It hasn't sold. They still have it. They're still sitting on this gold mine of a car that they think is worth so much money. But there's a reason they still have it. The seller of a car like that has built their car to appeal to a small subset of their potential buyer pool. And unfortunately, the group they chose doesn't have money. It's kind of like that saying, if you're not liberal when you're 20, you have no heart. But if you're not conservative if you're not liberal when you're 30, fuck. It's kind of like that saying, if you're not liberal when you're 20, you have no heart, but if you're not conservative by the time you're 30, you have no brain. It's generally the members of the Lunch Table Committee or just full-on dreamers that are the ones that will drool over a wide-body, gaudy, ridiculous build. When you get older, you realize the cost of all this and that you're going to have to pay for it. And, your tastes will tend to change as you get older. Of course, there are the people that are going to drop that ridiculous amount of money no matter what. Either they have a ton of money or they finance it all through a firm that are going to drop that crazy amount of money, make this crazy, gaudy, ridiculous, rocket bunny, wide body, crazy build like that. And yeah, okay, these crazy, outlandish builds. And those are the ones that the Lunch Table Committee aspires to. It's a double-edged sword because, however, that's not to say that a conservatively styled, period correct build won't cost you a lot of money as well, because it easily can cost the same, if not more money. Either way, Car Couture is going to follow the big money, high exposure builds, and then the low cost emulators will hit the streets and try to copy whatever it is they like, whether it's a crazy gaudy build or a nicely conservatively styled, understated, period correct car. I will say this channel, and I'll always say it, this channel is a grassroots automotive channel, probably the most dangerous automotive channel on YouTube. That's why they don't want you watching this. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell it exactly how it is. And that's going to help you. That doesn't make these aftermarket companies that want to sell you this garbage, that's not going to make them money, so they don't like it. We aren't a big money, drove my Lambo through the McDonald's drive-through kind of channel. We're an everyman kind of channel.
Bro, I swear, these curbs.
And every man isn't in the top % of earners, and even less are car enthusiasts at that. Not everybody can drop $20,000, $30,000, hell, even $10,000 on a build or on a car and be okay with it and just drop it and it doesn't affect your finances. My goal here is to help you try to spend your hard-earned money wisely and hell, maybe even make a little bit of money when it comes time to sell the car, when you're done with it and you want to move on to something else. But Net, that's like not fucking your wife so she's tight for the next guy. No, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard, and it's the most smooth-brained take ever, and it's only parroted by people that don't even have a car worth selling anyway. Now let's take a look at a recent cars and bids auction for an R34 Skyline. You might look at this picture and think, Oh my God, this is the sickest car I've ever seen. Holy shit, it's an R34 Skyline 4-door. I want you to guess what this 8th grader thirst trap sedan went for. Go ahead. If you're brave, pause the video, type it down there in the comments, let me know what you think it went for. You ready? $11,211, reserve not met. $11,000. That's all that this JDM God car could muster at auction. Why was it so low? 2 reasons. Wrong car, wrong mods. Why is it the wrong car, Net? It's a Skyline. Yeah, it's a Skyline. Unfortunately, it's the wrong trim. Now, if we look at cars and bids, we'll go to Skylines. Right next to it there, right next to it on the same auction site, it's the right trim Skyline, the correct trim Skyline. An R34 GTR victory specification that was bid to a whopping $105,000, reserve not met. It didn't sell. It didn't sell for $105,000. Seller wants to hold out for more. And yeah, maybe it's worth it. But that just goes to show that's what the right trim is going for. Now, you can cope and seethe all day about how you actually prefer the 4-door Skyline. They're better. The 4-door Skyline is a superior chassis. The rear-wheel drive layout is actually what I wanted. I don't want the complication of all-wheel drive. The rear-wheel drive is the real one. That's what people want. And actually, the RB25 actually is a better motor than the RB26. The RB25 is what I want. Really? In the end, you're just trying to convince people, or maybe yourself, that you're not upset that you can't afford the car you actually want. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've pretty much come to terms that I'm never going to have a 440 6-pack Roadrunner, a 70 Hemi Cuda, a big block 67 Corvette. I still love them. They're still gorgeous cars, but I'm not going to cope about it and pretend that I want a 6-cylinder Roadrunner or a 4-door. Nobody wants a 4-door Chevelle with a straight 6. Now, a Super Sport 396 or 454, you'll have people breaking down your door trying to get a piece of it. And this is what you need to think about when you're buying a car, because you are inevitably going to sell it. When you buy a car, at all costs, you need to try to avoid settling, if at all possible. Now, you might think, oh, a 240 convertible, I really want the coupe, but man, that convertible is there, and it's cheap. I can afford that one. Maybe I should get that. But sweaty, nobody wants them. A lot of these cars, as they've climbed further and further up in value, they're going to drag along their neglected younger brothers. Some of them are worth it, cool, but some are just redheaded stepchilds that honestly nobody wanted, like the 240 convertible. And they've been drug along as well because of their older siblings' mass appeal, because of this it factor that these cars have. They bring along the others that are not there. They lack it. They lack a certain je ne sais quoi. A couple examples of this are going to be like the 88.5 or hell, even a non-turbo automatic Supra, which, I mean, I'm kind of poo-pooing it, but I drive a non-turbo automatic Supra. I wouldn't be super proud, but I'd be like, hell, if someone gave it to me, I'd be happy. But don't get it twisted. These cars will never be the one. They're never going to be the car that everyone wants. And the value will always reflect that. The real thing is always going to bring more than the Cooper. Now, the second big issue on the Skyline, wrong mods. Like I said earlier, this thing probably makes every 15-year-old here in the comments section makes their jaw drop. They can't believe, like, wow, look at this amazing car. I'll have girls chasing me if I drive that car. Girls will want to be with me. Men will want to be inside of me. I'll be the coolest guy ever. But a buyer? Not so much. And really, there isn't even a whole lot going on with this car. Let's take a look at it here. So first and foremost, right off the bat, we have these fake T37s. T37s. They're too big, and all it does is show off the little Tykes brake rotors, and to top it off, it's on off-brand tires. You can't put something like this out there and expect top dollar for it. I've said it before, trash in, trash out. You want top dollar, you're gonna have to put top dollar into your car. And then not only that, the convex nature of the spokes on these wheels, it makes it look terrible from any angle other than looking directly at the face. Now let's look at that atrocious side skirt that looks like it was something made out of Home Depot. Why even have that? And what the hell is the point of that little canard thing right there in front of the rear wheel? It looks extremely homemade and bad, tacky. Like, on an otherwise stock-bodied car, why would you choose to go that route? It doesn't flow at all, and it just ends up looking tacky and out of place because it's tacky and out of place. Then we have another high quality, very expensive, very sought after modification there on the hood in the carbon fiber patterned wrap. Wow, great move there. A wrap on the hood. Now moving on here to the rear, that spoiler, honestly, I kind of like it. I don't mind the way that looks at all. I think it would be a better execution if it was paint matched, but even black like that, it's not too obtrusive. You know, so that's fine. I dig that. I think that looks pretty good. I also commend him for keeping the rear wiper. I think that looks sick as fuck, and it annoys me when people delete them. You know, it's like one of those free mods. Like, oh, dude, I gotta mod this thing. I don't have any money. I'm gonna take the wiper off and say it's a race car. Good on him for keeping it. I like the way it looks. And that brings us to the smallest, probably the worst offender of the car, the stickers on the fucking paint. This dude put the shittiest eBay made in Japan sticker on his bumper. What the fuck was this guy thinking with that move? That is the ugliest sticker. It's ugly as sin. It's horrible. It looks like something you'd see on a high school kid's gross Honda Civic. It detracts from the car as a whole, and it's a window into the mind of the seller. And what it tells me is that the seller is JDM as fuck and beats the shit out this car. A lot of people get pissed at me when I get mad at stickers or when I shit on stickers, but this is a great example of the stickers taken away from the car as a whole, and it showed in the final auction price of this car, what it was bid to. So what was the end result? A cope car with cope mods getting 2 cope bidders that battled it out for like 10 minutes on 100 bid increments that brought the end of the auction to a whopping $11,211. It was the wrong car with the wrong mods. Now, let's take a look at this Venn diagram I made to really try to bring the point home for you, okay? Here we have people with money, right? And then over here, we have people with bad taste. And there's a little bit of overlap there, you know? There's some people with money that have bad taste, and there's some people with bad taste that, you know, have some money. So there's a little bit of overlap. This is your buyer pool, right? These are the people, when you put your shit out there for sale, this is the buyer pool that you're working with. Now, let's say 10 years ago, you bought a 246 hatch in manual transmission, and you've been driving it, you know, for 10 years, didn't do anything to it, you kept it stock because you're smart, and you just maintained it, you know, kept it running, took care of maintenance when it needed to be done, didn't do anything crazy to it, you know. It's not the perfect car, but it's really nice. A lot nicer than what you find normally. Maybe we'll call it a 7 out of 10 car. Now, about a year ago, your buddy that, you know, realized that S13s are like the sickest cars ever, decided to buy himself a 240, found a convertible, automatic, couldn't live without it. He bought it, put a wide body kit on it, shitty paint, quick release steering wheel, ugly ass big wheels, a big wing, chassis mounted wing, whole 9 yards, stock engine, stock single cam. No, convertibles are dual cam, but let's say, okay, stock dual cam, automatic. Now, looking at our Venn diagram here, you're both gonna put your cars up for sale. Let me draw a picture here. Okay, I'm drawing. So this red circle right here, that's going to represent the people that are interested in the stock 240SX, the one that was taken care of, the one that didn't have any mods done to it, the one that is just a clean, correct stock 240. All right, now this blue circle is the people that would potentially be interested in that shitty vert. And even here, I think I'm being really generous. I think it's probably more like this, or even completely inside of this circle. This is just giving you a visual representation. Why a nice, clean, stock or stockish car, everyone is going to want it. Whereas a shit drift build, you're limiting yourself. You're limiting your buyer base. Only the people in this circle are going to want to buy that ugly ass piece of shit car. And guess what? None of these dudes have money. Whereas everyone wants to buy a clean, stockish example, a tastefully modified. But even tastefully modified, it's thrown around a lot, and a lot of people say those words, but I don't think they know what those words mean. Now remember, guys, I'm just here to try to give you advice on how not to waste your hard-earned money. It's hard out there, you know? I'm not rich either, and I'd much rather spend my money wisely, spend it in a way that it's not completely flushing it down the toilet, that if I can have a car, it's going to be a good car, and the car will retain its value when I do somewhere down the road decide to sell it. Now, you can take my advice and use it to try to make better educated car buying decisions for yourself in the future. Really get the most out of your money. Don't waste it. You know, you earned it. It's hard. Money's hard to come, but easy to go. Or you can say, fuck off, Ned. You don't know shit. You're dumb. This car is literally going to save my life, and you don't know me, and this car is going to be so sick. Yeah, you can do that. And then just learn your lesson down the road when you end up leaving the game. You know, it's like a red pill and blue pill situation. Which one are you going to choose? The only difference here is that no matter which one you choose, in the end, I'm still right. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the road less traveled by.
All in favor of skipping the poem? Thank you.
And that
Has made all the difference. I'm Netgear. Thank you for watching. Join us, discord.gg/feed. And remember, everybody, do better.